Hello, I'm Lee Truax.
And I'm Phil Stone.
And this is the summer edition of CBMC's Connection Point. You know, for many years, Connection Point has been our way of communicating with you when we have something to say.
You know, more often than not, we decide to post these updates when we have something we think may be of interest to you. Sometimes our litmus test has been simply this: if we were in the field, what would we want to know? Such as latest news, what about new resources, and maybe a heartwarming video of a transformed life.
You know, it could also be new advances in our quest to stay technologically relevant, for the next generation and how important that is. The point is, we're only interested in considering things that we believe you'll find helpful or interesting.
If you come away from this edition of Connection Point and just say to yourself this: wow, I didn't know that, then it has been a worthwhile endeavor. We know our first order of business today will resonate because many of you have been involved.
Back in February, we became a platinum sponsor with Iron Sharpens Iron. And what that means is that our ministry is being showcased at Iron Sharpens Iron conferences nationwide. For the past 2 months, we've been all over the East Coast and the Midwest. In Chicago, there were 600 men gathered at the South Side in Orland Park, where Phil and Ken Powell were inundated with a legion of guys who wanted to know about our featured free online resources, Living Proof, and our new EOT. But above all else, what they are really desirous of knowing is how do they connect with like-minded men.
From Chicago to Hartford, Connecticut, where Lee, you and Rob Gonzalez found yourselves in the midst of 3,200 men on fire for the Lord. What was your takeaway from that ISI event?
You know, one of the things that you realize is Iron Sharpens Iron does a great job of building men for the sake of others. And they talk a lot about their relationship as husband, father, member of a great evangelical church. But what we had an opportunity was to bring the CBMC value to where they spend the majority of their time, the workplace. And so as we challenged them deep in their hearts, they wanted to be ambassadors for Christ, 2 Corinthians 5:20. And we really challenged them about how effective are they, where they spend the majority of their time, where they have an opportunity to impact their sphere of influence as Christ's ambassadors, the marketplace.
So ISI is in a quiet phase right now as they prepare to roll out their fall lineup of conferences, and CBMC will be gearing up as well.
You know, by the way, if you would like to see if there's an Iron Sharpens Iron conference opportunity in your area, if you think that would be a good idea to check that out, you want to contact Brian Doyle right away and ask if there's any room left to add an Iron Sharpens Iron event. You can go to their website, ironsharpensiron.net, and you can see the contact information there. You know, we won't know if you don't ask whether or not that might be something God wants to work in your city.
You know, Lee, it has been an amazing 2015 already. Not only have the Iron Sharpens Iron conferences been keeping us hopping, but we've launched the Marketplace Ambassador events throughout America, and the response has been overwhelming, wouldn't you say?
It has been. In fact, we have the joy of connecting with Mark Whitaker, who's on the front lines of these launches, and we have him on the phone right now from Cincinnati. Mark, you've certainly been logging the miles, my friend.
I tell you, Lee, it's been very exciting with the Marketplace Ambassador launches that we started in February, which our first official launch was in early February in Tampa. We had 165 people show up in Tampa, and since that, and the exciting thing is, 95% of the people that showed up at the Tampa and all the launches that we've had thus far in the last few months have never heard of CBMC before. So we're reaching people to express that what it means to become a Marketplace Ambassador that we've never reached before. So that's the neat thing about the Marketplace Ambassador Initiative, is expanding our reach. And in Tampa, for example, we had 165 people show up at the launch. And since that point, Lee, we've already had a group of about 20 that went to Building Spiritual Reproducers. We've had several that's already joined a young professional group. We've had Connect 3 teams that come out about that. And we've also had Marketplace Ambassador teams come out from that launch in Tampa. And very similar results that we've had in Valdosta, Georgia, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and more recently in Atlanta, Georgia. Just to give you an example, in Atlanta, Georgia, we had 52 people that showed up at the launch. 90% and more had never heard of CBMC before that launch. Since that point, it's already some fruit. Some Connect 3 teams are forming. Some groups are getting together, some teams where they're going through the Marketplace Ambassador attribute studies on a weekly basis. A group have already gotten together also to form a young professional group. So I tell you, just Atlanta is kind of a clear example of some of the exciting things that are happening out here in these last few months with these launches.
So Mark, when you look into the eyes of these men all across the nation, what do you feel is connecting and resonating with them most?
I tell you, the main thing I'm seeing, Lee, when I'm presenting in front of these men and I pose the question, do you want to become a more effective ambassador for Christ? How can anybody say no to that, Lee? I've not heard one say no to that yet.
Mark, thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
You know, in the midst of all that you've seen already, last April saw our leaders and staff gather along the banks of Lake Geneva for what many are already calling, Lee, perhaps our best conference ever. And there's no question the kickoff event up there on the opening night was a real hit for both the men and the wives. What an evening on a boat.
Well, you know, it's a great way to start a conference by being highly relational and allowing people to connect. And so the cruise on Lake Geneva with dinner and our staff and board members was a great chance for us to reconnect, rekindle those relationships and really share what God's been doing in our midst. And frankly, all these programs and all the things that we do at CBMC, you know, I hope things don't get lost in the promotion and the shuffle and the new branding and all those different things, because it's all about, I mean, the bottom line really is all about having an impact for Christ. And it's so neat to be with like-minded folks who have that at the core, to be effective ambassadors for Christ, to meet people right where they are. So it was a beautiful time. It was a great time on the lake and just a great joy.
And what a breathtaking sunset we had. By the way, the thing kicked off up in Lake Geneva with the presentation of the R.G. Letourneau Award. And Lee, I think everybody in attendance was moved. It was a wonderful event.
It really was. And it's a great thing when we can honor and thank those who've invested so much of their lives through this ministry for the Lord. And all of them have said, as we've awarded this award a couple of times now, that it was God empowering them to do the things that they did that had the impact that it had. So this is really not lifting up man, it is praising our Heavenly Father and His work through men in our ministry. And we don't want to leave out the wives. Certainly as we awarded this to Norm McClellan and Evelyn McClellan, yes, the impact that they have had in our ministry, the connection that they've had with many people. Lisa and I will never forget the time that they spent in central Massachusetts with the people that we cared about. And what a joy it is to see those who invest in the people that we're investing in, to see that additional touch. So we had Carrie and Patty, two of the children of Norm and Evelyn, and two grandsons there. And it was just a great joy to see the heart. As Carrie thanked all of us, we really were thanking he and his family, right, and the impact of the legacy. And I think it was very moving. All who were there really enjoyed that connection.
When you think about people in our ministry that are fitting to receive this R.G. Letourneau Award, Norm and Evelyn McClellan right up there at the top. Norm will certainly be missed by all. Well, we experimented with a new format for this conference up at Lake Geneva, and by all accounts it was a rousing success. Why? Because of the interactive nature of keynote sessions from Chad Hovind.
You know, Chad has really epitomized what it means to be interactive.
Oh, man.
The way he worked with those who were there. You know, our goal for this conference was to equip and to then mobilize those who were with us to be able to go back and to be living proof and to connect with small groups and leaders and teams in their area where they could share the value of going through living proof together. And Chad is living proof. The way that he carries himself, his mission in Cincinnati, all the things that he does, and he just exposed so many new ideas and thoughts that people were really blessed.
Well, and again, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know how she did it, but the curtain came down on this conference when Pamela Schreiner somehow booked Oprah, Donald Trump, George Foreman, and Wolfman Jack for a star-studded talent show at Lake Geneva National Golf Club. And it kind of was reminiscent of the old Tonight Show, Milton Berle, and Laugh-In.
Yeah, Milt who? I'm not really sure about that one. I think you're dating yourself, Phil, but the fun of that evening, you know, it is good to laugh.
Oh boy.
It has never been lost on me that in God's creation, He gave laughter to human beings. You know, other animals in the kingdom don't do that. Only His people made in the image of Christ. So I got to think God laughed that night too at some of the craziness and some of the fun. And what an evening, what a way again to build relationships and memories. I think it's really important to have those memories.
And what you said, Lee, is absolutely right. The sound of laughter was such a fitting way to wrap up things at Lake Geneva. And the praises from those who attended were so appreciated by everyone who put so much into making this year's conference such a memorable conference. Take a look at what some had to say.
You know what, the connections with people that I've worked with all my life, but now I know them a little deeper. I've seen their heart, and I've heard God speak to me in a different way that was just absolutely amazing. It was a simple, but it was a profound meeting for me.
The value of a CBMC conference for me is that it allows me to kind of get renewed and really start again afresh, because there are so many things that can discourage you out there, and I need to be encouraged. So this has been a great encouragement to me.
But this kind of really tied it all together for me. Chad did an excellent job of just linking everything and giving us some real practical pointers on how to share the gospel, how to share lives with people.
The excitement, just how everything is just coming together for the Lord to work the hearts of men, and these new materials, especially the New Living Proof, being able to listen to those testimonies and hear the stories. I think the stories are so valuable, and to hear those stories, I can't wait to go through the whole entire series so I can myself begin to use those, and also to tell the stories that I have in my life.
From Iron Sharpens Iron to the successful Marketplace Ambassador launch events across the country to the Connect Conference at Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, we've been busy around here. We wanted to share some of that joy with all of you. We celebrate what God continues to do through the ministry of CBMC.
So, now that spring is behind us, it's time for you to begin thinking about Belfast in South Africa. What are you doing going all over the world?
Well, you know, didn't sign up to be going all over the world. This is something that God is doing, and we have a chance to pass the baton from the World Convention 2014 planning team to the World Convention 2018 planning team, which will be held in Belfast. And so excited to do that, bringing some information and some things, and really bringing, I think, a sense of what God did through the World Convention as He mobilized ambassadors for Christ around the world to be effective for Him in the marketplace, and reaching other people through our lives is what it's all about. And so what a great joy to be going there. And then on to South Africa for just a brief visit. And we'll be spending time again kind of mobilizing folks in Cape Town and Johannesburg with the messaging around the Marketplace Ambassador. They caught it at the World Convention, and they continue to leverage it. In fact, you know, you look at the investment, Paul Johnson is there right now doing coaching and BSR, Building Spiritual Reproducers, sorry for the acronym. But what's exciting about Building Spiritual Reproducers is it really challenges those who should be Pauls and Timothys who are considering getting engaged with disciple making to do that very thing. And so very purposeful, very intentional. We do these trips not frequently, but when we do, God shows up and does great things.
So can we expect upon your return we'll have a little bit of a cavalcade of memories of your trip to both Belfast and South Africa?
Well, we'll see. We've got Ken Powell traveling with me, and so we'll do some videography as we go, and excited to see what that looks like. But you know, for now, thank you for watching Connection Point. Thank you for being with us together here for the summer version of Connection Point. And so for now, I'm Lee Truax.
And I'm Phil Stone.
Thank you and have a great summer. We'll look forward to catching up with you again soon.